Alright guys, welcome to module 1 of building a limitless mind. This one is all about focused attention. So, progress isn't actually that complicated. We complicate it to have an excuse or a way out. It's simple, but it starts with willingness. Okay, most people want to live a happier, more inspired life. They just aren't sure how. They just don't really know what to change. And so far, you have done your best with the tools that you have. Okay, but now it's time to upgrade your skill set. Now it's time to really make change because you have access to these tools to live a more inspired life. Yeah, to be happier. How many times do we hear, oh, I'd love to do it, but it's too hard for me or it's too complicated. And I've done that. I've been the one telling that story. I've bitched out. Like, we start to tell ourselves these stories to justify why we can't do it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it easy for you to feel happy, easy for you to feel empowered. And I'm going to show you how to actually make it difficult to feel negative, difficult to feel bad, difficult to feel down. That's what we want to do here. We want to make it really easy to feel happy and really difficult to feel sad. So there is two things that we need to change. Number one is how we feel, and number two is how we behave. Okay, and there is a couple of things that will affect this. The first one being perception. The meaning that we attach to things. Other people, events, challenges that come up. This determines our experience of life. Like, the past is nothing more than a present memory of something that's happened with our mind filling in the blanks and all of the meaning. Essentially, our imagination makes it mean something. And that is true for every scenario. Yeah, let's first look at rejection. All right, this is probably all of our biggest fear, me included. All right, the reality, what is rejection? Okay, I ask a question. They said no. That's the facts. Our imagination makes it mean something. It's what we make it mean that makes it sting. Okay, so let's look at asking someone out on a date. Okay, we see someone, we ask them out on a date, they say no. Okay, that's our biggest fear, the fear of rejection. The only reality is there that they said no. Okay, that's the only fact. We then tell ourselves, it's because I'm overweight, it's because I'm ugly, it's because I don't have enough money, he or she is only interested in people with more money. We make up all these scenarios, all in our imagination. The reality is that person could be just out of a bad relationship, is not ready for anyone else. They may think they are not good enough for you. You do not know the facts. All you know is that they've said no, and that's the facts. We don't need to give it any other meaning. Okay? So when you look at rejection as the worst case scenario, they just say no, it's actually not that bad. It's all the meaning that we put with it that actually makes rejection so bad and why we fear it so much. Another scenario where rejection is quite common is like a job interview. All right, we're really afraid of getting rejected in a job interview. The reality is, if they say no, that's just a fact. We don't know why they've said no. The position may no longer be there. It could be just a case of someone was more qualified. Nothing to do with your ability or you being a bad person, anything like that. Sometimes it could be that they feel you're overqualified and that you're not going to be in the job long term and they're looking for someone long term. You, again, do not know the facts. So there is 0 point in being afraid of rejection. Okay, so let's look at how to deal with challenge. Let's look at a little scenario, okay? Okay, so let's look at this real quick. Now, excuse my writing. Yes, it is very poor. Okay, so a challenge happens, all right? Essentially, something goes down. All right, what does this mean? Okay, well, it means there's an outcome. Right, what happens next? It's perception. Okay, this is where essentially we add meaning. Yeah, our perception is simply us adding meaning to a scenario. Okay, so what happens after we add meaning? So we make a decision. So we make a decision. Okay, and we make that decision based on our perception. Okay, so now some challenges happened. There's obviously an outcome. We form perception on this, which means we add meaning. Okay, and from that, we make a decision based on this perception. So after we make that decision, okay, what's next? Yeah, we take action. We always take action based on our decision. Okay, and that leads to the result. Okay, so it's quite a straightforward process. We zoom out and look at that again. There's a challenge, something goes down. Okay, there's an outcome. We can't really change that. There's a perception then of that outcome. That's where we add meaning. That is what we can change. And as a result of that perception, we make a decision. And based on that decision, we take action. And based on that action, there is a result. So if we are finding ourselves in the wrong place the whole time, the wrong result, it is quite likely it is based on us taking the wrong perception when there is challenges. So let me give you a really good example of that. Two guys I know, all right, and the two of them had gyms. Okay, the challenge was COVID. Okay, the outcome: gyms closed. Okay, so what's next? Well, perception. So what did these guys do? Well, COVID happened, couldn't be helped. All right, the gyms closed. That was regulations. That was the outcome. That couldn't be helped. The next thing was their perception. Okay, now these two guys, they took different perceptions. First guy, he closed, panicked, said, nobody needs me. Yeah. Second guy's perception was, fuck, this is a really tough time. Everybody needs me. Yeah. People need fitness, their health, more than ever during COVID. So he rented out his equipment and he got them working out at home. Okay? So that was the perception. Made a decision. Say his decision was to close. This guy's decision was to rent the equipment. Okay, so that was their decision, that was their action. The result, no business now. It's gone. It's not opening again. This guy, absolutely booming. The very, very same challenge both of them were presented with. Okay. The only thing that changed for these guys was perception. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Perception is everything. Okay, so perception is absolutely everything. If I want to change my result, I have to change actions. To change actions, I need to change decisions. And to change decisions, I need to change perception. So I need to change what I make things mean. Okay, challenge-free life, it doesn't exist. Okay, and I'm going to tell you now that you seek challenge that inspires you, or you will attract challenge that doesn't. Okay, and that is a fact. If you avoid one discomfort, you will have to deal with another. Okay, the perfect comfortable life, it does not exist. Yeah, so you avoid the discomfort of the gym, you end up with the discomfort of being overweight, unhealthy. Okay, in business, you avoid the discomfort of marketing and selling. You have the discomfort of no sales, no money. Okay, you avoid the discomfort of a job interview. You end up on the door. Okay, you have the discomfort of being on the door. You avoid the discomfort of an awkward conversation with your partner. You end up with the discomfort of a shit relationship and them probably leaving you. Yeah, so challenge-free life, it does not exist. So, what impacts our perception? Okay, well, the first thing is our state, right? My state will dictate my perception of any given event. My physiology and attention will impact my state. Like anxiety, depression, joy, confidence, stress, overwhelm, these are all states. Okay, all of these are a state of mind. Yeah, when you're exhausted, everything feels hard. Okay, let's take a week after a heavy weekend of boozing versus a week when you didn't have a heavy weekend of boozing. Everything is harder, yeah? And it's because your state is affected. Like, when I am tired, I'm a dick. There's no two ways about it. When I'm hungry, I'm a dick. So, if we don't look after our physiology, it is going to impact our perception. Okay, and the second thing that will affect this is attention. What are you focused on? Because if you are focused on the negative, you will hit that target every single time. Language is massively important. Okay, there is no such thing as anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome, procrastinator. These are all labels. And you might be listening to this, and if you have been given one of these labels, be a little bit triggered, but I'm writing these here because I have had all of these labels. Okay? I have had anxiety, I have had depression, I have tried to end my own life, I have been on antidepressants, okay? I have suffered with imposter syndrome. I labelled myself as a procrastinator, and that's why I never really got anywhere in life until I was 25. These are all labels, okay? And you don't have to accept those labels when they're put on you. And I'm telling you that now. And I'm telling you that from first-hand experience. If you are one of the people who are on medication for any of these things, I'm telling you there is a way off it. But we have to change a lot of things in our life. Because all that medication really is plastering over the cracks. Yeah, it's helpful at a time when you're really bad, but it is not the solution. like if we just look at how important language can be, yeah, I am fucking raging. I hate that cunt. Versus, geez, I'm a bit irritated, yeah. That fella is not an overly nice man, is he? Same thing, same scenario, different language makes me feel a completely different way. Okay, the next thing is the palette. This is essentially the environment you place your body and your mind in. Like a painter can only create from his palette. Okay, he cannot create anything that is not within his palette. That is the very same for us. If your palette involves watching the news twice a day, you're going to be scared, you're going to be worried, you're going to think the world is crumbling around you. There is nothing good happening in the world because you are watching the news, which is full of negative. If you're watching Love Island 24/7, you're going to think everyone is just going out shagging, you know, and every girl should just drop in front of you or the other way around, and that's how the world works because your palette is looking at Love Island, which is not a fucking great palette, okay? So if you're watching that, stop fucking watching it. Yeah? If you're hanging around with 10 doll heads, you're going to be the 11th, alright? If you're hanging around with 10 millionaires, good chance you're going to be the 11th also. Which do you want to be? So like willpower, motivation, they have expiry dates, alright? What goes in your mouth, up your nose, who you hang around with, these all have a dramatic impact on your state. So pay attention to your environment, okay? Pay attention to what's around you, who's around you, what you're looking at, what you're eating, what you're taking, okay? This is all going to affect your state, okay? Quite simple example. You hang around a McDonald's or KFC 7 days a week, good chance you're going to end up fat and overweight. You hang around the gym 7 days a week, good chance you're going to end up in pretty decent shape, okay? Change your environment. Okay, so this is the part that I love, right? And this is something that I've taken from one of my mentors, completely changed my life, and this is focused attention, all right, and how we actually change all the things we've previously spoken about. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. All right, one of my favorite quotes. You get what you are focused on. Yeah, are you watering flowers? Or are you constantly watering the weeds and then wondering why the fuck your garden is covered in weeds? Focus on all the things wrong. I'm going to feel shit. Focus on some good things I'm doing. I'm going to start feeling a bit better. Alright, so your mind is like a compass needle. It can only point in one direction. We can't have positive and negative thoughts at the same time. It just doesn't work. It's one or the other. So our magnetic north is always negative. Okay, it's just how we are. We always notice the negative before the positive. What could go wrong if I do this? What might happen? What might go wrong? Afterwards then it's like, oh, what could I have done better? You know, what could have went better? This is why we focus on the negatives of others. Our negative parents who complain all the time. Our negative friends. Yeah? It's why we see this always first. It's because our magnetic north is negative. And that's how we are programmed. Yeah, so these negative people, they're not bad people. Yeah? We don't need to cut them out of our life. Alright? They're just, you know, parents who complain, like, they're not negative people. You cut negative people out of your life, that's bullshit. Alright? You're going to be cutting out your mother. Your mother's going to be the most negative person you know. But she's doing it out of her best interests. Alright? She is looking out for you all the time, and that's why she sees the negative. That negative friend you have, they're not bad people, alright? They're just focused on what's wrong. They're focused on the fact that they have no money, or they have a stressful job, or their wife left them, or their husband left them. I know that is what they are focused on. They are not bad people. We don't need to cut negative people out of our life, because essentially you will be left on your own. So that advice that people say, cut out toxic people, cut out negative people, that's bollocks, alright? You're going to be left with nobody. Okay, so let's learn how to actually deal with them a little bit better. So there isn't actually negative people, there's just negative thoughts. All right, and the thing what most people don't realize is you are actually in control of your thoughts. Okay, we can change our thoughts. So I want you to write this down now. Okay, pause the video, write it down. If you wanted to feel excited, what could you get excited for this week or this year even? Okay, pause the video and write it down. Yeah, so see what happened. Even talking about it, writing it down, you got excited. And that's how easy it is to move the compass needle. Okay, when we focus on something more positive. Focus is controlled by questions. If I ask the right questions, the mind will find the right answers. Better questions equals better answers. Stop feeding the mind with shit. Stop looking at the news. Stop waking up in the morning and looking on social media. 90% of it is negative. We make it so easy to feel like shit because we keep just putting shit in our palate. Okay? So I need you to really pay attention to what you are feeding the mind. And the two things that have really come to mind there straight away is the news and a lot of social media. There's some great things on social media. Obviously me being one of them. Alright? But a lot of it is negative. A lot of it triggers us. Okay? And a little bit of advice there. Even if it's a friend, a fucking good friend, but they're painful on social media and all they do is gloss and post them doing this, that, and you know that that's not their real life and that triggers you, just mute them. Or you don't have to unfollow them, maybe just mute them. Okay, mute their stories, mute their posts. They will never know. You don't have to be looking at that and triggering yourself every day. So, how do we change the needle? Alright, we start with food. Stop putting shit in. Start putting in some fuel. Yeah? It's like a car. You're putting in shit, you're not putting in the proper high quality petrol. It's not going to run very well. Alright? Put in the correct fuel. You will operate a little bit better. Mute negative WhatsApp groups that are full of shit. For guys, might be WhatsApp groups, there's a load of fucking stupid shit getting through into constantly, you know, dirty pictures, whatever. It's just going off all day. It's not, look, it's funny maybe now and again, whatever. It's not what you need to be seeing 24/7. Okay? Unfollow people who are complaining. Mute people who trigger you. Stop watching the news. Like, there has literally never been a better time to listen to positive shit. Like, you have audiobooks. You have Spotify. You have any amount of podcasts. I will recommend good books and podcasts to listen to. You have motivational speeches on YouTube. You have like the best bits of Joe Rogan. Somebody's gone to the effort of putting that into a clip. Like, there is so much positive shit that you can be listening to. Why are you listening to all the negative shit and filling your mind with shit? Yeah? So this is how we change the needle. Yeah, so come up with a strategy to feel good. Alright? We need to come up with a system or a strategy for feeling good. You have a strategy for feeling shit, for self-loathing. You just don't realise it. But you do have a strategy for it because you do it. So let's create one to feel great. And that starts with questions. Remember, questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Okay? Questions are going to determine where our mind goes. You will have negative emotions. Okay? Like I said, a life without challenge doesn't exist. You're always going to have negative emotions. Okay, but we need to make negative emotions like your mother-in-law's. Alright? A place where you visit, but you don't stay there too long. Alright? You don't want to stay there too long. You don't want to live there forever. So, what we want to do, we want to make the positive emotions the place where you live, and that makes it harder to feel the negative emotions. So, if you wanted to feel proud right now, what in your life right now are you proud of? Pause the video. Write it down. Okay, so tell me, you've wrote down now something you are super proud of. How does it feel? Yeah, does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel empowered? That it could, like you could have, maybe you wrote down about having your first child, right? Maybe you wrote down about a sporting achievement. Maybe it was a professional achievement. Maybe it was the day you got married. Whatever it was, write down something that made you feel really proud. And how does that make you feel now? Now, I bet you some of you had to pause this video for like a minute or two or 5 minutes to think about that, and maybe found it actually a little bit difficult to write down something that made you feel proud. But if you wanted to feel really pissed off, angry, annoyed, how easy is it to think of something? Yeah? You don't even have to write it down. I know you're thinking of it now. I'm doing it myself. Yeah? And think back to a job that I got fucked over with back when I was a teacher, back in Waterford. Yeah, it makes me feel angry inside. It makes me pissed off. I was bullied by the principal. It's that easy to feel negative, to feel pissed off. So you don't need to write that one down, because I don't want you feeling angry. I don't want you feeling pissed off, but I need you to realise how easy it is to feel angry, pissed off and annoyed, versus how we make it difficult for ourselves to actually feel happy and proud. So I want you to stop and think about this, and what 3 emotions would I like to experience less of? And then ask yourself, what 3 emotions would I like to actually experience more of? You know, so I might want to experience less anxiety, less overwhelm, less anger. I want to feel more confidence, more joy. Yeah? So, let's look at what we can do to make this happen. And again, this comes back to questions. I want to feel more confident. I ask myself, what would make me feel more confident? And then do more of that. Yeah? See, the problem is what we do at the moment, and what we've done for years, is we put all our energy into how we don't want to feel. You know? Like, and I've done this myself. And I say, oh geez, I wish I wasn't so anxious. And I keep saying that, and I constantly keep saying, oh Jesus, I wish I wasn't so anxious. If I keep saying that, all my brain hears is anxious. And guess how I end up fucking feeling? Yeah, anxious. Instead, I think about the confidence. And I say, I wish I was more confident. And I think, what makes me confident? And I do more of that. And guess what? You will become more confident. And you will become less anxious. So stop focusing on the negatives. And most of this comes back to happiness, all right? And happiness isn't something that anyone can give you. And when you realize that, and when you stop expecting other people and other things to make you happy, that's when your life will change. Like, most of us, we don't give ourselves permission to feel happy until the outside world fits our image of how things should look. You know, that car, that house, that holiday, this partner, this job. When all that is perfect, I'll feel happy. You know, I'll feel happy when I have X, Y, Z. Happiness is not something anyone can give you. We have to create happiness. So it's time to change the rules. We give ourselves permission to feel sad, angry, pissed off, offended, but we never give permission to feel happy. The reality doesn't match the picture in our heads, and that is the problem. all of the time. This picture we have in our head of what happiness is, what happiness should look like, and reality doesn't match it. So then we don't give ourselves permission to be happy. Well, let me tell you, I've been there. I've been in that picture, yeah, on that beach. And let me tell you, 30 minutes later, you're going to be fucking arguing over what's for dinner, yeah? What food will we get? Happiness is not about that, yeah? The picture that's in your head, when you get there, you won't be happy. You still will not be happy. So what the fuck do I do then? If I reach that picture that's in my head and I'm still not happy, and essentially I still wanted to kill myself, what the fuck do I do? Well, here's what you do. You change the fucking rules, alright? You change the rules of when you're allowed to be happy, of what makes you happy. So, now let's look at the activities that's actually going to change this, alright? So you will see a PDF to go with this training, alright? So, module 1, where attention goes, energy flows. The first part of this, okay, is the happiness bank. And this is quite simply creating a bank of things that make us happy. So, for me, what makes me happy? Well, music. I'm happy every time I listen to music. I'm happy when I read. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy when I study. I'm really happy when I do jiu-jitsu, or MMA. Okay, I love those. Coffee. Going for a coffee makes me really happy. Really simple thing to do. A movie. Meditate. Okay, I'm always in a better place and happier after I meditate. Gym session. Like when I finish a gym session, I always feel happier. You will always feel better after a gym session. Okay, travel makes me happy, alright, but that's not the easiest one to do. When I coach, it makes me happy. When I do these trainings, like creating this is making me really happy, alright. I'm happy when I dance, yeah. Not very good, so I keep it to my bedroom after I get out of the shower, but, you know, when no one's looking, an old dance makes me happy sometimes. It makes me happy if I impact someone's day. Yeah, if someone says thanks to me for doing something, like that makes me really happy. If I go for a walk and listen to a podcast or something, it makes me happy, you know. My ice bath makes me really happy. Yeah, it could be a cold shower either for some of you. Like, don't get me wrong, it's tough at the time, but when I get out, I feel great. The sun. Yeah, bit of sun makes me happy. If you don't have sun, might be sauna. Okay? Or any kind of sweating basically. Like you will feel better after it. So you know that might be from a run. Yeah? So I need you to write down here 20 things that make you happy. They don't have to be difficult or extravagant, simple things that make you happy. Okay? And this is going to be our happiness bank that we look back to. Alright, so the next part of this then is essentially journaling. Okay? And it's focusing our attention. Some people journal, or you might have tried it in the past, but this is more like guided journaling, okay? And it's journaling to focus on the right things, to focus our attention. Because a lot of people who maybe tried journaling in the past just wrote down a lot of random stuff, and it may have ended up a lot of it being negative. It's not really what we want either. Okay, so the first part of this is obviously one of these for each day of the week. One word that describes the feeling I want to create today. And you fill this out first thing when you get up in the morning, before you do anything else, before you go on your phone, before you do anything. You fill this out. Okay, one word that will describe the feeling I want to create today. All right, might be just happy. The reason I chose that is because, well, for me today, it was because spending time with my partner. And she deserves to have me happy, you know. She doesn't deserve to be around me when I'm a dick. So one thing I'm willing to do to create that feeling is get my training in. Because I know that I'll feel great when I come out of it. And what one thing am I most excited about today? And this can be anything, all right? And I don't want to hear, oh, I don't have anything to get excited about. Yeah, go fucking create something. Stop playing the victim. You don't have anything to get excited about. Go create something to get excited about. For me, what I'm excited about today is a movie with my partner. And I created that because look, that's one of the things in my happiness bank that makes me happy. All right? So, that is to be filled out every morning. So if you're struggling, go back to your happiness bank. Look, this is unique for everyone. All right? It's different for everyone. We all have different lives. What I'm asking you to do here, not asking you to move mountains. All right? It's more like shifting a few pebbles. Okay? And look, essentially, if you can't be bothered to pick up a pen and paper and fill in a few words to feel happier, to change how you're feeling long term, to make all of this last long term, well then I'm sorry, but like you're never going to leave where you currently are and you're going to be stuck there if you can't be bothered to do this little challenge that may be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but it is really not that much to ask. Okay, like I said, not asking to move mountains here. You know, it should take 5 to 15 minutes max in the morning. Okay, now this part here in the evening. Okay, so this will be filled in before you go to bed, and this is focusing on our wins for the day. So it's very simple. We write down 3 wins. So what were my 3 wins today? All right, well, first one, MMA. Reason why? Well, I learned a new back escape. Mightn't make much sense to you if you don't do jiu-jitsu, but I basically learned an escape for someone that's taking my back and trying to choke me. That's really important to me, you know, because I want to get better at jiu-jitsu. Further progress. Well, in training, I'm going to put myself in that bad position. And escape. Yeah, I'm going to test it. I'm going to make myself get better at it in the live scenario. So I'm going to put myself in an uncomfortable position to try and escape. And that's how I'm going to make further progress on learning that new move. Okay, what was my second win today? Well, recording this training. Why? Well, it's going to change your lives. Yeah, and further progress is to deliver the rest of the modules. Right, what was my third win? Well, it was a movie. Why? It was downtime for me. You know, I struggle to take downtime sometimes. Okay, so watching the movie was downtime for me. And further progress, well, I'm going to do that every week. So once a week, I watch a movie. None of them are like massive wins, okay? But they're all positive things. And look, here's the reality. If I write down 3 things that went fairly well in my day, or that I was a little bit happy with or a little bit proud of, that's 21 things every week. All right, that's 84 things in a month. That's 1,008 things in a year. If I write down 1,008 things that I've done well or small wins in a year, well, I'm going to feel a little bit fucking more confident, aren't I? However small they are. 1,008 of them will add up over 12 months. And I guarantee you, you don't write these down, you won't remember them. You won't acknowledge them. And I guarantee if you forget to do this some night and you're trying to fill it in the following morning, you'll find it difficult. And you won't remember the little things that you've done well the day before. But you'll remember everything that was fucking tough, everything that was hard, everything that was negative. So that's why this task is so, so important. So essentially, progress comes from measuring backwards, not from actually measuring the distance from our end goal. That's not how we measure progress. Because if we do that, we'll feel stuck in the gap, and it can be frustrating. And that's why we stop, and that's why we quit. And that's possibly what you've done in the past, and that's probably why you're here in my academy, because you wanted a different approach, and you know that that's not how I work. Okay, so we measure backwards, and if we have 1,008 of these in 12 months' time, that's a lot of progress to measure back on. Yeah. So we have the same here for Tuesday, Wednesday, okay, and so on for every day of the week. So you get it filled out in the morning, you fill out your wins in the evening. All right, not a huge task. Going to take about a combined 10-15 minutes of your day. All right, so get it done. You will be submitting this with your check-in, okay? So I don't need to see your actual wins. I don't need to see all of that. You know, this is for you, all right? But I'm going to hold you accountable that in your check-in form, I'm just going to ask you, did you complete it? Okay, and how many days a week? How many days of the week did you complete? Was it 5 out of 7, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7? All right, and you need to let me know. Look, I'm not going to give out to you if it's, you know, only 3 out of 7, whatever. I'm going to encourage you to get it up to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 out of 7. All right, but if you don't engage, if you don't fill in your check-in, if you don't let me know how you got on, then you're going to be removed. But if you've made it this far, you know, you've done the whole training. I don't think we have to worry about you not participating. All right, so really hope you've enjoyed that. If you engage and if you get this done and stick with it, I promise you it will change your life. Okay, so print this out is best. Okay, there's something about writing on paper. It is better. If you want, do it on a tablet, see if it works for you. But I would recommend printing it and actually leaving it beside your bed with a pen and just, yeah, get in the habit of actually writing that physically on paper every morning, every night, before bed. Okay, so only thing left now is to take action. All right, so get it printed, get it done. Any questions, just ask, and I will see you all next week.